Collective, it's Ron over at Becoming Enlightened Together. We're doing a weekly read today. So today, Sunday the 30th of November, all the way till Saturday, 6th December. Okay. After looking at this energy, it looks like once again we're getting a look into the world of karmic bill. It is telling us, however, because the overall energy for the week just happens to be Lagos. Now, Lagos deals with the water element, okay? So if you were to look at it from the astrological standpoint, that would be Scorpio, Pisces, and Cancer. So water elements basically are also the cups in tarot, and I'll be doing a tarot reading sometime after this. But that deals with, emotions. That's what water typically represents. And the yin or feminine side of the yin and yang. Also spirituality, intuitiveness, um, other things such as inner states, feelings, relationships, things of that nature. All right, so basically what that is telling us is that the collective needs to trust their intuition this week. Okay, whatever week this is that you're viewing this in particular. The rest of the reading deals almost primarily with the karmics, at least from Tuesday night on. Tuesday night all the way till Saturday, it's all reversed energy, or lower vibrational negative energies, in other words. So that tells me that the karmics are basically doing what it is that those who are in low vibration typically do. They're planning, plotting, and scheming. Some of them are involved with energy manipulation of their own, whether it's what we call typically the evil eye, which could be actually the use of some type of magic. It could be nothing more than just looking at you and your pictures and cursing the very ground and air that you breathe. Ground you walk on, air that you breathe, okay? Same type of energy involved in a sense. Now, there does seem to imply that also there's going to be death soon. I see that in at least 2 out of the 7 energies that I have represented here for this week. And again, that echoes what we've seen several times along the way over the last couple of months. But to see this much in one reading, 1 week's reading, and that's not even to talk about the day-to-day throughout this week. It just tells me that it's getting a lot closer to becoming a reality in our lives. Now, it doesn't necessarily have to mean that it's just somebody who is practicing low vibrational black magic or whatever the case may be that is going to pass on. Good people die too. We all do. It's one of those guarantees in life. We're all going to at some point expire. But what this is telling us is this is basically the recompense of their earlier actions, or the karma that they have stored up for themselves. They have failed apparently to listen to the many warnings that they were given from their own spirit teams, from the Most High Himself, from their intuition. It's given many different ways to many different people. So, but what's becoming apparent is that at least somebody out there within our sphere of influence has failed to listen to that advice and has chosen to carry on, seemingly with even more rage and an even greater vendetta than before. And this doesn't mean that you've done anything wrong. Somebody out there has singled you out, and it could be because of somebody that was in your life. For who knows? It could be something as simple as somebody lying about the situation with you and them. Got that other person who they knew was easy to manipulate, riled up. Now they are working in a vendetta, against you, perhaps to try to prove to the other person that they are more worthy, or it could be a number of different things. But that's just one scenario. Okay? So just because you've broken up with somebody or you walked away from somebody at some point doesn't mean that ended there, is what I'm getting at. So if you're unfamiliar with this type of energy being present in your life, I may be the only one that's giving you the heads up in regards to this. And I don't want you to become paranoid as a result of this. And of course, everybody's, reality will differ. So if it resonates with you, if you feel that there's something off, if you're feeling perhaps that there's somebody tugging at your energy, your heartstrings, whatever the case may be, then just be aware. That's all I'm trying to get at, okay? That's what this reading is telling us. That's why Lagos is the primary energy for the entire week, all right? So, again, it stands for things of emotion, spirit, intuition, things of that nature. So, it talks about the psychic feminine, dreams, intuition, anything water related, rivers, lakes, streams, the ocean, anything like that, and the movement or even leaking of that water, or emotions in a sense. Somebody that maybe you don't even realize cared more for you, or they believe that they cared more for you than you realized, and or maybe they're just simply unstable, maybe bipolar, who knows? It could be a number of things, right? So, and I've had experiences with people who have had some mental, issues. And, when you deal with somebody, for example, with borderline personality, the very person that loves you more than anybody ever has loved you is also possibly planning your demise. That's the kind of things that are going on. They can love you and hate you all at the same time. It's like multiple personality disorder, so to speak, but they're happening in some cases simultaneously. I don't know. It's a strange world that we live in, and of course, those who are most diabolical and psychotic just happen to be the ones who are the best at hiding it. Okay? They know how to mimic emotions outwardly, but feel very little inside. Some people, depending on the type of psychological disorder, not that I am an expert in any shape or form, I've just had to deal with certain people who had these things, so I had to become familiarized with some of it. I went through counseling with some of these people. I've read a lot of the books and literature on the subject, and even psychologists themselves do not want to have things to do with certain people that have certain types of psychological disorders because they're so hard to treat. And they become the focus of the hatred also of some of these people. Anyway, I know I'm getting off on the beaten track, but this could be the energy that you yourself are also experiencing out there. So I have to give you what I feel obligated to give to you in terms of information. It's just beyond, what the rune itself is telling me, or the energy that I feel from that. I'm getting that too. So, all right. So for Sunday, or today's energy, what we got was Radho. Radho in the reverse. Okay. Now, Radho in the reverse is one of the runes that I was referring to for the week, which talks about death, okay, in the reverse. It also talks about an upset of plans, delays, unexpected travel, perhaps, loss, crisis, rigidity, feeling static or being in stasis, injustice, immaturity, irrationality, disruptions, dislocations, demotions. Perhaps somebody either lost their job or they got demoted. Another cause or a trigger for psychological outbursts. Delusions. We're talking about people who may be extremely delusional. Okay? So, and then of course the possibility of death I was referring to earlier. Now, I'm not going to go into the magic aspects of these anymore. I've done that enough, I think, for now, and I haven't gotten any feedback on whether people are interested in that or not. So I'd rather just get the information out to you in terms of the energy overall for the week. If you wish to have more information in terms of, how these, runes can be used energetically, as far as being able to manifest things or to help you in certain endeavors, then you can text me and I can help you out perhaps in that regard. Now for Monday or tomorrow's energy, what we have is Isa. This is Isa. Now Isa again talks about being in a form of stasis or static, energy loss, ice, cooling, separation, privacy, ill feelings, challenges, frustrations, grievances. It talks about a time where you need to turn inward, which again accentuates the need for being self-aware and using your intuition. So we see that in, I saw as well. All right, so you need to turn within to seek clarity. That's what it's telling us to do. Now, for Tuesday's energy, what we have is Manas. Okay, and Manas basically in the upright stands for man, mankind, the self, humanity. Well, I already said humanity, I'm sorry. Altruism. It stands for modesty, thought, creative attitudes, intelligence, the thoughts of other people or about other people and their thoughts about you, again, which goes very candidly with, and precisely with what I was saying earlier in terms of, people basically having you in their telescope or microscope, depending on how you look at it. No pun intended. All right, so creative skills and abilities, awareness, again, you can expect to receive some sort of aid or comfort now or in the very near future. And this could be that aid and comfort which you are receiving. It may be something far greater than this. Who knows? It's going to differ for everybody, but this information in advance could be that aid and comfort we're referring to. To be self-aware of what's going on. Now, for Wednesday, everything is negative from this point on. Okay, now this is the rune, the energy that's for Wednesday. And it talks about wrong directions, possessiveness, distress, inappropriate constraint of someone's freedom, somebody's desire to enslave, slavery. Somebody wants to lock you up in a cell and throw away the key, where only they have access to you for who knows what. Okay? It's basically what they're getting at. It talks about also drudgery and toil. Talks about necessities. Talks about extremities, wants and needs. Emotional hunger, poverty, starvation, deprivation. It talks about losing basically all the creature comforts or the things that we all need, not only for comfort, but for survival. So somebody may be losing everything they own right now, which of course is another major trigger. When somebody believes that they have nothing else to lose, then they have nothing else to lose. So if you are on their radar for whatever reason, that means you have cause for concern. And I don't want, again, to cause any type of paranoia or anything like that, but if this resonates with you, then again, you have all the more reason to be very aware of your surroundings at all times, okay? Alright, now for Thursday's energy, what we got was Degas. Okay, and Degas, as are all the remaining runes for this week, in the reverse. Okay, now what that stands for is attitude problems, radical changes, completions and endings, limits, coming full circle, blindness, hopelessness. Again, all of those very low vibrational and those situations where people can lose all hope, falling into despair. And again, when that happens, people do very irrational things. And if they've come to a point where maybe they know that they're going to lose what remaining freedom they have on top of losing everything else materialistically, it could get, well, let's just say they have nothing to lose. Once again, that means that, there's nothing that they won't do. Not to be scared. You've got nothing to be scared of. But you do have to do your part. And that means, again, making sure that you're aware of your surroundings, at the very least. Okay? You have your guides, you have your ancestors, you have the Most High, you have the angels, you have the extraterrestrials, whatever it is that you believe that looks after, watches over, guides, and protects you, they are very much involved in doing exactly that at this time. Rest assured, they're not the only ones who have these types of resources at their disposal, those who are calling forth these negative entities. Not that they ever really did. They don't even know what they're doing. And by utilizing these forces, they got nothing to lose. They have no reason to listen to them for any reason, regardless of what it was that they gave to them in advance. So they think that they're in control, but they're never in control. You, on the other hand, are looked at and loved by the Most High. So you have nothing to worry about. But make sure that you check, your surroundings anyways, okay? So again, what we have for Degas is basically a sense of hopelessness. Now for Friday, what we have is Othala. Othala is the diamond with the legs on it, but it too is in reverse. So for Friday's energy, Othala once again speaks about death. Okay, so again, we're seeing that more often than we should for a single week's reading. And again, this is only the first day of that week. So it stands also for recklessness, frustrations, legal problems. Now, they don't have to be your legal problems. They themselves may be going through legal battles that you may have no, awareness of. And again, this is all part of their triggering. Okay, so they have a lack of order, a sense of totalitarianism. Like I said, they want you in a cell, in an attic, or in a basement, and throw away the key kind of a thing. Okay? Slavery again, poverty again, homelessness again, bad karma, prejudice, clannishness. Oops, sorry about that. Hope you didn't show on the other side there. And that which binds someone. In other words, if you're in a secret society, a coven, or even a family unit that's formed as some type of secrecy in whatever act, this is what we're talking about, the kind of energy we're referring to here with Othala in the reverse. Okay, it's not looking good, you guys. It's becoming more and more dire, with these karmic readings that we get. It's the energy becomes more palatable, and that just means we're getting closer for, this cycle coming to a close. For Saturday's energy, what we have is Canes. Now, Canes is also in the reverse, as I've stated. So for Saturday's energy, it talks about, again, facing up, in this case, to death. Maybe somebody has been given a medical forecast, if you will. I mean, my mind kind of is in another place right now because of all of this negative energy, but the things that they were told about themselves or somebody that's close to them are referring to basically a death being imminent for them. Okay, that's what they're talking about here. So also they talk about disease in this particular rune being in the reverse. perhaps a breakup. Again, as you can see, every imaginable possible bad thing that can happen to a certain individual is referred to in this week. You know, whether it's relationships, jobs, your own private personal possessions being lost, disease, your life potentially being lost, all of that is covered in this week. And I'm sorry, I wish I had positive energy as I did yesterday to relay to you, but I have to give what it is that I get. So, lack of creativity and nakedness, exposure, loss of illusions. They're being forced to see things for what they are, not the way that they convinced themselves it was. So they're losing what hope that they had, losing false hope. They tried to convince themselves that they would win in the end. Perhaps they have won many times before this. But the long story short is the world is changing. The karmic situation as a whole is changing. Using Christian vernacular, all things that were done in secret are now being revealed. So to the karmics who are out there and that are watching, I hope you're prepared for that. And your very best course of action is not to try to deny it, but to actually show for the very first time for most of you some courage. And by that I mean having the courage to accept responsibility for your decisions and your actions, some of which are pretty heinous. Um, and it's not just in my particular case. This also carries to the collective. If I felt this was just for me, I certainly wouldn't be sharing it with everybody else out there. So, but I mean, I've had these things I've been dealing with for years. Now, as a reader and everything else, I have to relay the information that is given to me for the collective. And trust me, I have to make very, very clear in my prayers, in my meditation, and everything else before doing these readings that I am doing this for the collective as a whole, those who would see this either now or later on, not for myself personally. I do my own personal reads for me. So, with that being cleared up, hopefully, I hope that this can be a help to somebody out there, although it's negative, and I know that's not going to be popular, obviously. I'm sorry for that. It is what it is. Um, but I do hope that it helps somebody to make better preparations or be more aware, self-aware of possible situation or something that's been nagging at them for the longest time, and this gives you some clarity as to what that could possibly be for you. If it doesn't resonate, don't make it fit into your life, okay? And I know it's not always easy to say one way or the other until things actually physically manifest in your life. I understand that, I do. But if you feel inside of you that in some way, shape, or form this is something applicable to you, then take whatever precautions and countermeasures you feel obligated to do. And remember, you have every right to defend yourself and your loved ones. So, you want to be in that mental space before something happens so that you don't pause. So you're able to respond and react quickly if need be. Okay? And again, I'm not trying to scare anybody, but I want to put you in a proactive and a not just a defensive, but a potentially protective, um, you know, state of mind. Because this is why law enforcement trains. This is why the military trains. It's about muscle memory. When you're under a lot of duress and everything else, you can prepare yourself mentally, psychologically, and spiritually before something terrible happens as well. At the very least, somebody we know is probably going to perish here very soon. Could be more than one person. And again, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but this is the news that I have been given to deliver. So, with that being said, stay victorious. You guys are warriors. I don't care if you're only 90 pounds soaking wet. You've never gotten to a fight in your entire life. If you get on your knees, if you pray, if you are doing all that is necessary in order to live a good life, you are influencing others in this life, whether you know it or not. And you probably don't, because you're not doing it for fanfare. You're doing it because it's right. And that means you are a warrior for spirit, a warrior for the universe, a warrior for the collective. So you are, in my case, my brother, my sister out there. Okay, not all of us are meant to fight. So I will see all of you in some future day, long, long, far away, hopefully, in a galaxy far, far away, in Valhalla. Okay, so until that day, or actually until tomorrow, take care. Bye.